This video is brought to you by Galaxy Lamps. Thank you so much for helping make this video possible. All right, boys, every weekend, last time on the podcast, we started to talk about hoarding. And the conversation quickly went from hoarding into Chris jumping in as soon as I mentioned scalping. He's like, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Resellers are not scalpers. And then we never talked about hoarding.
Dang it, Chris.
Yeah, Ricky's in the hot seat for this one. So my thought process is we go to the swap meet every weekend of our lives, right? We buy stuff. Besides hoarding, the other sub-genre topic with this is we buy things without intention of ever using, right?
Yeah.
And I think, and I know most people aren't going to like to hear this, it's pretty common. I'd say 80% of collectors buy stuff with no intention of using it. I hate to say it. Ricky, maybe you
call me out?
Give us your thought process on it, because it's huge. Your thought process.
This is a hoarding intervention for Ricky.
I mean, who is
Mom, come in. Is Mom in the room?
It's probably more Nicole, but I don't know. I just buy it because I like it. If I like something, I'm gonna get it. The only problem is, it's like I'll like something for a certain time, and then I'll put it in a tote bag or a tote box.
Got it.
And then I kind of push it away, but I still know it's there. I guess in a way, I'm collecting just my old schoolness, the old stuff.
So at what point does it feel like it's hoarding? At what point, let's say you, Chris, what point do you look at stuff and go, I know you don't own a store, so it might be a little different, but at what point do you go, this is not the right way to do this, so to say?
Space has to probably play into that. If you run out of space, that's got to be a key element to it.
I've been out of space for years.
Mom, come on. The kids coming with tears in their eyes. Mama, we want you back.
We want you to stop. It's a sickness.
You go to Ricky's house, you lift up the crib blanket to look, and it's games in there, and the kids are on the floor. Daddy, I'm so cold. I just got in the mail something from Galaxy Lamps, and I'm stoked. Galaxy Lamps, can I just say right off the bat, thank you for not sending me like a script. You just said, hey, have fun with it. You're going to love this. Let's check it out. It's a little light in here, but let's go check this out. Come here. All right, so we got the Galaxy Lamp right here. It's daytime. You can't really still looks very awesome. There's a lot of different things you can do on this, but let's black out this house a little bit so we can check it out. After turning it on and connecting it to my phone, this is one of the most simple ways you can add accents to any room. Look at this. Check out the phone right here. There's a whole bunch of, look at that preset. So this is relaxing set. Just a ton of different settings and ways you can make it. Oh, that looks cool. It's like a nebula. And with this, as you can see, there's a whole bunch of different ways to customize everything and ways to make it look in different settings. You just kind of toggle it how you want it to look. This thing is amazing. This has so many cool, unique styles, unique looks. If you have a game room, a YouTube channel, or just want things to look cool, this is a quick, easy way to make things look awesome and in just a fun way. It also has app and voice control. With this, you can truly transform any room into your own planetarium. It has app and voice control, flexible timing function, and a 3-position base that allows projection on ceilings or walls. If you're looking to get 15% off of this amazing, fun Galaxy Lamp right here, all you gotta do is go down to my link down in the description below, or you can use my discount code +PIXEL for 15% off right away. It's that simple. Thank you so much to Galaxy Lamps for not only being awesome, but also helping support this channel. It means the world.
I'm not gonna lie. Here's the true thing. I hope Nicole's not watching this, but
She's gonna watch it.
But some of the stuff, like I like plushies. I like Pokemon stuff. Like, I got my kids into Pokemon, so I'm like, oh yeah, my Pokemon stuff. Yeah, it's yours. So it's just another way for me to store it in their room.
I feel like Ricky's one of those guys too that knows he hoards, low-key hoards. I wouldn't say you're like the definition of an actual hoarder. An actual hoarder is someone who I think has a real problem. They literally couldn't let go of something if they had to. It tears apart families. Ricky's not there yet. But the funny thing about you, is you're the one guy in the group I know who has too much stuff, too much of the same stuff, right? But he's also the one guy at the swap meet that will solely seek out the biggest items. Where I'm like, Ricky, what are you doing? He goes in, I'm just like, what are you picking up? Or he's either picking up like a 10-foot Pickle Rick or like a giant Snorlax, and it's like a 15-foot one, a giant Chewy that's like this tall. Ricky's not picking up the little items where he's like, oh, this is going to be just added to my collection. He's always buying these, not saying the value is, but the item's physical is giant, so to say. So
I'm still bummed out I don't have that Snorlax anymore, though.
Then Nicole made me get rid of it.
Yeah.
I thought the first time I went to Ricky's house, I was like, oh yeah, he's probably got all the stuff in the world. And then right when I go in the door, I see in the closet a Mario paint hat, the corduroy one, and I was like, that's a $400 hat just stuffed in the closet. And he just says, oh, that's nothing. Just look at Gabe's room. And you just see this giant Bart right there in front of my face. I'm like, it just never ends.
Ricky's one of those guys that if you go in his house, it's like an endless wormhole of things where you could open up any door at any moment and you're like, oh, it's just full of games.
But it was pretty clean. Like, I've been to your house before. The rest of the house is clean. You do have it kind of segregated off, your collection.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a shed full that you haven't seen.
and it is not good. It's like full of Black Widows and all that. So, but real short answer. What percentage do you think? And let's be honest with our fellow collectors, collecting channels, people we know, are low key hoarding in a way to you're like, oh, if you're never playing, because original topic that Curtis was kind of talking about is buying things with no intention of using it, playing it, touching it. It's just gonna sit.
Well, I think it applies to pretty much anybody that's a collector. This concept that like you have to use whatever you collect, and I hear it a lot. Like I hear people saying, "Well, I'm selling off my collection because I was never going to play all these games anyway."
Yeah.
And my thought is like, well, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to sell it just because you weren't going to use it. Like I collect a lot of things, like in comics, for instance. Like I read comics on occasion. I'm not going to read all the comics that I have. I still like to collect them.
Yeah.
And an even better example, like games are something you can use, right?
Yeah.
So I get the concept of like, well, you're not going to use it, I'm going to sell it, I guess, kind of. But like action figures are another thing. Like we're grown men. Like I like to collect like He-Man toys.
Ricky
right?
and I play with them when you guys aren't around.
Well, so that was going to be my point. What I was going to say is like, are we really going to sit at home and play with action figures? You know what I mean? Like I'm not.
Yeah.
Ricky's
Maybe with no one around.
Ricky's like,
I'd say where the most downfall is among collectors is most of us that are collecting stuff you collect with the intention, right? Like I'm gonna play that someday. I'm excited. You hear it in YouTube videos. I'm excited to play this game eventually.
Yeah.
Does it happen? I don't know. I think it's the intent that gets hard. But I think where I struggle is when it's someone who's like, they're not selling, they're not doing any of that. And I'm not saying it's wrong because I don't think there really is a right way to collect, so to say. Yeah. But they'll be like, yeah, I just picked up this NES again. And again, they're not selling or anything, but I know that they have like 14 of them.
Well, here's another thing.
So I don't understand the multiples of it though. Like I collect a lot of things. I don't have multiples of things. So why do you have like 14 NESs? What is the idea behind that?
I keep forgetting like what I have, but like I know some of them I would sell to buddies like, oh, you need one? Yeah, I got one, and it just in my head I'm like, oh, I already sold it, but I keep buying them.
Or the intention to flip, like, okay, I will flip that eventually, and then you just kind of forget about it.
And I feel like that's a lot of collectors. Like they want to get good stuff now because we've learned over the years that if you get the good stuff now, it's going to be worth a ton later. That's why like I bought a ton of Wii U stuff.
Curtis is waiting to say something.
No,
I don't know what he's looking at me funny.
Because it was funny because last night I bought that the sign right here off of Whatnot, and then
show the people, bro. They can't see that.
And then Rip goes, oh yeah, he has another one. He's got like 3 of them in this little drawer. Pulls out all 3, and I'm like, why do you have that many?
They're cool.
No, they're awesome, but it's just funny that you have all that stuff hidden away.
Like some stuff you collect, it's mainly for you to see. Because honestly, when am I gonna actually do anything with a statue or stuff like that? So.
And I do have multiples of a couple things. I take that back. Like little Samsons. I'm going to flex here.
Wait a second. Wait, okay. You shut up right now. I went to his store, and this guy is like showing us. He's like, yeah, I got this bin of stuff. I don't know what it is. Wait, hold on. I got this bin of stuff. I don't know what it is. Man bun. And I look in the bin, and he's got multiple little Samsons CIB. Didn't know he had them.
I did forget I had.
There was a moment.
I had 2 of those.
There was that sick part of me for a moment when you're like, I didn't know I had 2 of those, and I'm like, I could have pocketed that. He had no idea. He had
I
2
would
of
not
those.
have known. I did forget that I had 2 of those. I do also like Sculptor's Cut, Clay Fighter. I think I have 3 of those. One
All right, let's bring in Chris's wife and family.
It's just a way to lure you in.
But, so my thought process behind that is that those are so rare that for me, I'm like, all right, how many little Samsons have I seen in over the last 10 years? Probably only 2. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to see any more of these. I might not see any more, so I'm going to put these away.
Yeah.
not is it an investment thing, kind of, but to me, it's more of like I'm not going to see this ever again.
It's also
I'm going to hoard them, so that kind of goes in line with what you were saying.
I can see it like almost like a currency. He's like holding gold in his safe. He's like, I'm just gonna put them away, and they're just gonna gain.
He's a little bit more of a speculator.
Yes.
Is that the word? Speculator.
Yes, and I do like to speculate on things.
That's funny because
Yes.
when you and our buddy Caleb from Phoenix Resale were in the same room, he's like the opposite of a speculator. He's like anti-speculator. You're a speculator. So it's so funny to watch you guys do business where he's like, I don't freaking care what it might be worth. And you're like, but it could be. And it was just a fun conversation to watch.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because when Caleb was there, that game that he wanted, that Go-Go Hyper Grind, was actually a game that I had speculated on literally like 8 years ago. I bought that game. It came into one of my shops for like, and it was trading in, I think it was selling for like $20 at the time.
Woof.
And I was like, what on earth is this game? Like, I'd never seen it.
Yeah.
So I took it and I just put it away in a bin. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't even know what this is. And it literally wasn't until Caleb came probably 8 years later that I was like, wait, this game is worth $400.
Dang.
So that was like a speculation.
Enter the
thing.
theme song. Speculation. No breathing.
and then when Chris just goes into this back office, he pulls out these 1985 Nintendo documents. Like he's like, oh yeah, I just had these in the
Yeah.
back, like with just a little dust.
I think
Beautiful.
I think the best way to look at it is there is no necessarily, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to collect, but as we touched on the podcast last time, is there is always like those moments where you kind of have to look and be like, okay, is this the healthy way to collect? Is this the healthy way to, so to say, resell as well? There's always that moment.